And because the students are not don't teach so well, so a lot of times students have questions and problems. And when they ask the teacher say, you should figure it out. This is by the student. Okay, so these students get so mad, he just complains to his professor. Then what are you doing? You are doing nothing. And then the professor says, no, this is a new teaching skill. It's called BDS by the student. It's introduced by Professor Ye. So then these students start to write to me to complain about this. So I have to make this disclaimer. It's not like you give everything to the student, let them do everything. No. You should give them, you should do it gradually. And it's not leaving all the learning job to them by themselves. You have to do a lot of guidance. And if they have problem, you have to answer by yourself. But one thing I never do is I don't let students teach other students. Because that's not fair to the student. Because for students who they are not that good at teaching. If you let them teach other students, it's a waste of everybody's time. And time is very precious, okay? So I think it's not like you leave all your job to the student. No, that's not the case, okay? I have to make this disclaimer. Otherwise, in Singapore, people say, oh, that's what Professor Ye said. Oh, man. Okay. That's learned by the student. And another thing I want to share with you is assigned by the student, okay? What does assigned by the student mean? Let's think about this, about the purpose of homework. For ideal homework, an ideal homework can have educational purpose. That is, the student could be able to learn something from the homework which is not taught in the textbook. That's the best ideal homework that can be. But a lot of times our homework does not meet that kind of requirement, okay? A lot of times our homework only have one purpose left. What purpose? Evaluation purpose. We want to evaluate whether the student really did study the chapter or really learn the chapter well. Only the evaluation purpose. Let me ask you this. In Singapore, the student copy answers by each other? Yeah, that makes us even more friendly. Yeah, that kind of thing happens in Taiwan a lot too. And why? Again, students take too many courses, too many subjects, and every teacher is assigning homework. So eventually, if they want to survive, they have to do this kind of thing. So we have to, we have to think about this. A lot of times, it's not just students' problem. The whole system itself also has problems. And for me, when I assign homework and students copy from each other, I feel that that's totally a waste of his life and my life. So I feel that no, I refuse to do that. I don't want to do that anymore. So what do? This is what I do. I will do it differently. Okay, we will do it different. We make learning into a game. Okay, this is this is an article I wrote. 修课如游戏. Okay, it's have a lot of influence on many people. Okay, if you are interested, you can take a look at this. You can search on Google for this article. Okay, but anyway, I explain this idea to you. Okay, basically I built a web-based game. Okay, it's a map system, and I separate students into groups. And I separate students into 3 people group. I have a relatively large class. I have around 80 students. So 3 people in one group, I have around 25 groups. Okay. So what do? When I finish a chapter, let's say I finish teaching the chapter 2, I don't assign the homework. I tell the students that look, every group design the homework problem out of chapter 2 by yourself. And because I have 25 groups of students. So eventually we will come up with 25 problems. So each group design one problem. And then what do they do? They start to solve, they start to conquer the problem designed by other 24 groups. The more group problem you conquer, the more score you get, and the further you proceed on the map. Okay? So all students knows that these two or 3 groups are very awesome, and they all know this group is fooling around. Okay, and another design we have is this is something very crucial. This system has in real time it updates the status of each group. This group, you can see that this group has conquered the problem from this group. So he has conquered around 15 problems, and this group has conquered the problem of this group. They have conquered around 20 problems, more than 20 problems. And this group conquered less than 10 problems. Okay, so this is very helpful when we to motivate the student, because a lot of times students tend to do homework only 1 or 2 days before the deadline. Okay, they feel that everybody is not starting yet, why bother? But if they accidentally visit the website, they will find that, what? This guy is still, he was playing basketball all day long, but they already finished 20 problems. Then they start to get nervous, and they will start early, okay? So what are the problems like? This is a math course, okay? This is actually is a probability course. It's a mathematical course. So it has a lot of, so you would assume that the problems, a lot of math problems are a lot of like symbols, like x, f of x, and f of y, right? So let me show you what are the problems that we have. Okay, this is the problem, a typical problem I got from my student. I don't know, let me ask you, how many of you can understand Chinese? Raise your hand. Okay. You know what, I have 2 problems, okay? I'll read this problem in English, but I have another problem I'll use it in Chinese, okay? So to let you feel how good this problem is, okay? So Plato, one day Plato asked Socrates what love is, okay? So Socrates asked him to go to the garden and to pick the most beautiful rose on the way, okay? But he's only allowed to pick once, and he cannot go backward, okay? And so if Plato missed any rose, he will not be able to go back to pick it anymore. And Socrates feels that Plato would fear that there will be another more beautiful rose in the future, and so that he wouldn't pick any rose and come back home empty-handed. Then Socrates can explain his philosophy about love to Plato. Okay, but Plato is very smart. He has his own strategy. Actually, Plato knows that this garden only have 8 roses, so he came up with his own strategy to increase the probability of getting the most beautiful rose. So what did he do? So this is his strategy. When he walked around the way, for the first 3 roses he met, don't pick them. Just keep them as a reference. And for the next roses, after these 3 roses, if there's any rose that's more beautiful than all 3 of them, just pick it. Don't hesitate anymore. Okay? So following the Plato's strategy, what do you think the probability of him finding the most beautiful rose is? Okay? So if you look at this problem, there's no x, no f of x, no f of y. It's only Plato, Socrates, and rose. Man, it's so beautiful, right? So this is our homework problem. Okay? It's not like the textbook problem. It's a lot of symbols, just so boring, right? So what's our students' feedback on this? Actually, I happen to see this from the students' Facebook page. Sorry, it's in Chinese. This student, it is from June 16th, which is final exam week last year. Okay, in that week, student will have to finish all final exam of many subjects. Okay, and this student wrote, he said, well, there's 4 problems on the website left. Okay. I really want to solve it, but if I keep solving it, I will not be able to do the exam for the electromagnetics and signal systems, and I feel so awful. Okay, and this on the next day, June 17th, he said, I just couldn't help but to solve another 2 problems on the website. Okay, it's like totally addicted to the online game. Okay, although I feel very sorry for my colleague, but what the heck? So the important thing is my student has the patience to learn something with all his heart. I think that's very important. Okay, so I feel so happy. And let me show you another example. This is the best problem from last year, but I'm sorry, I can only read it in Chinese because it's too lengthy. I'm very sorry. Okay, because Last Miserables was very popular. The movie was so popular, so this group of students, 郑子宇, they like the movie a lot, so they designed a problem out of that movie. Okay, 巴黎1832年6月，一个飘着毛雨的湿热夜晚，一间破旧的旅社歪着一边的招牌写着德纳第客栈。留着花白大胡子跟半只须，滔滔不绝的是作家 Victor Hugo。在旁边静静听的那个人是雨果的朋友，一个正直的英国诗人哦。 我一直不知道为什么会有一个英国诗人在这边，但等下后面老师就知道为什么哦。这时有人推开嘎吱作响的木门，匆忙走进旅社。大数学家跑上驾到，雨果条赶到。跑上是一个非常有名的几率的数学家 ，OK。哇，还很多哦。门外的街道上，一个中发女子戴着毛毡帽，穿土黄色大衣，正快步经过。告白只会让她困扰吧？我想着她。假如我是 Marius， 我又何尝不想把诀别信交到口在手里？他继续没入香浓阴影中。老板娘盘子摔到地上，引起3个人注意。Evelyn， 你们一堆。好。然后几阵枪响，让室内一片寂静，只剩下老挂钟的滴答声浑然不觉于此。我看他凶多吉少，雨果道，又喝了一口威士忌。他被击中之后，应该可以再走一段路。那就假设他每中1枪，速度就减半，直到中4枪时当场毙命。那他成功穿过巷子的几率是多少？你算得出来吗？你有没有在听啊？马上问诗人，感谢那个狙击手，我又有灵感了。诗人抬起头说：“哦，为什么要有个诗人呢？哦，因为郑子宇非常喜欢英国文学，他为了这个题目，特别自己写了一首。”英文的14行的古诗，这些英文字都是古字，很多是古字我都看不懂。那这诗不是乱写的，他有中文版，我就念中文版给你听。歌唱的天鹅，为何定要送这信到黑暗的冥府？助纣为虐的子弹不会收回刀尖，因为马上分布是屠夫的几率质量函数。无情的目击者去请求几率，他哑口无言，诉说了这场悲剧。Man, it's really something, right? 哦，然后后面还有很多啊，因为时间有限，我就念不完了。OK， it's a 5-page problem on probability. Okay, actually, Principal Holmes just bring a book to me to sign today. Actually, we published a book out of this because out of the previous 4 years, I have accumulated 300 problems like this. All of them are like a short novel. So the publishers came to me and said, Professor Ye, can you come up with the one with the most literature value? And like 30 of them to publish a book. So we published a book out of this. Okay, it was a bestseller for the science category when we published it. Okay, so it's really amazing. So think about this. How much time do you think this student will spend to design such a problem? Actually, it's at least 10 hours. Okay, but you think about this, when you assign a simple problem for them to solve, they wouldn't solve it, they want to copy from other people. But when you ask them to design a problem, how come they would want to spend more than 10 hours to do this? So that's another thing I want to share with you. It's about the value system. Okay, a lot of teachers like us, when we assign homework to the student, we would expect students to do the homework with all their heart. Why? You know, as a teacher, a lot of time we have to think from the student's perspective. That's very important. When you think from the student's perspective, let's think from the student's perspective. When this student works very hard for the homework, what does he or she get? Well, probably a pretty good score for this homework, and probably a very good impression from you. Okay? Now, here's the question. Does your good impression really mean something to this student? Okay, if your relation with your student, with your clients is very close, and because they admire you, they respect you, then your good impression on them probably really means something to them. And they probably would really work hard to earn it because they really care about your good impressions. But for a lot of us, a lot of times we just meet this student probably, we don't meet them that often, or we don't have that very strong relation yet. Your good impression on them is not that important to them. Why would they work hard? They wouldn't. Okay? So that's the problem of value system. All of the grading are from teachers. But in this case, that's totally different. You know, when they design the homework problem, then everybody in the class would have to read other people's problem. So when a group of students design such a problem, then dynamic on Facebook, you see people start to have ooh and wow. Wow, you look at that problem, that's so amazing, you know. And people start to share with each other, and they even share it to their friends outside the department. So, you know, in the campus, all of a sudden, a lot of people know that these 3 people designed such an amazing problem. So they feel that, wow, this is something worth spending time into it. because I can get approvals, praise from the peers. Okay, so the praise from the peers means much more important to the student than the approval from the teachers. Okay, so we need to change our value system if you really want to motivate your student. I will explain more of this later on with my example afterwards. Okay, and this gamification, actually gamification even pushes students to their limit. Okay, as I mentioned, Andrew invited us at the end of 2012. And after we discussed about the administrative affairs, about how NTU joins Coursera, then I have a good dinner with him. And only two of us. He is a professor who has a lot of passion teaching, so we share a lot of our teaching experience. And when I mentioned the gamification I just mentioned to you, I mentioned the same thing to him. He got so excited because he felt that this gamification is something never seen before, and he